And then ComicsGate went for Raz0rfist. They've been wanting to do this for a long time. If you haven't noticed the MO of ComicsGate over the last 2-3 years, anybody who is right-wing, who has actual talent, who sells well, who does something that they like, or that normal people like, gets the ComicsGate we're going to destroy you treatment. We've seen this over and over and over again. The pattern started originally with Vox Day and his books. We saw that, of course, they attacked my books, did the same thing. They attacked Eric July's books. Now they're attacking Raz0rfist's book because of an unrelated art thing that Raz0rfist posted. It's unbelievable, and they're just nuts. And so this is what they do. They attack with the right wing because they know they have an audience that they built off of trying to grift off of the culture war. Originally, these guys went out there, they said, we're blacklisted from DC Comics because MAGA, yeah. And they pretended like they were on our side of the culture war. Now, we know that John Malin, one of the big perpetrators of this, is an Obama voter leftist. Shane Davis, we know, was not ever canceled from DC Comics. He lied about that and actually has said so multiple times. And Ethan Van Sciver's story is also very suspect. I talked to Dan DiDio back in the day, and Dan DiDio said that Ethan Van Sciver was very, very slow. And then also had an attitude a lot of the time. And so he was just difficult to work with, so they kind of cut him loose. And so none of this had anything to do with politics, but they grifted off of the movement. And then you notice anybody who was right-wing, anybody who's Christian just gets attacked hard by them. Now, this isn't just with ComicsGate. There's another group of influencers as well. We'll call it Gamergate 2, that also a bunch of influencers got big last year talking about the culture war again. Those guys had very much the same thing. Smash JT is one who got very, very big by that. He is a radical leftist who promotes transgenderism and homosexuality. He just grifted off of it. We had people like Endymion, who goes around calling people white supremacist and the like. Same sort of thing. This movement over here, and then of course all of it was really coordinated behind the scenes. A lot of person who gets a lot of credit, even though doesn't do much. A lady named Madame Savvy, who's a fan of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, a radical feminist, a pornographer. She actually makes pornography and sells it, and she grifts off of course, a simp army. And all of these people got a right-wing audience, and ComicsGate, the same group, and weren't right-wing. And so what they have to do is constantly signal to their audience, don't pay attention to this right-wing guy. And they use the same words, right? Grifter, tourist, racist, white supremacist, homophobe. It's the same thing that the leftists have used to, of course, try to shut any of this down as well. They know the game because they're part of that. These are, again, think about who these people are. Shane Davis, Ethan Van Sciver, they're part of the DC Comics establishment and were for decades. And that's what they're not wanting to crumble. They've tried to set up a false dichotomy. It's a 3-card Monty kind of thing, like where it's like, hey, we're the alternative to the mainstream. Check us out because of our mainstream credentials. It's like, if you start to think about it, it doesn't make sense, and that's not where you want to go for a real alternative. Where you want to go is a place like Raz0rfist or myself or Vox Day or Eric July. These are real people who were not ever invited to the mainstream because we're real conservatives, we're real Christians, right? And this is a problem for these people. And once they see that, once they fear that if their audience sees that, they're going to lose even more. And they have been. And that's been the case. These guys have been, of course, shrinking and shrinking. They're not growing any of their audiences. Each campaign is doing way worse than the last every single time. And people have caught on to it, especially with the way your boy Zach, who was caught up with them as well, has just really turned on everybody. And then you see the way Ethan turns on everybody. And then you see the way his lieutenants start to do this, right? You get a really, really ugly picture here. And like I said, this is happening in the influencer space across of things. Comics, the gamer situation, this sort of thing happens a lot. And what they get initially is the grifters like this, the people who are not actually fighting the culture war, who are not actually producing, who are not actually here to make any real changes. these people get promoted very, very heavily initially by certain algorithms by these sites because these are left-wing sites, right? We're on a left-wing platform right now. And so they like to push that because it's a controlled opposition in a lot of ways. They know that those guys are never going to get real change enacted because people just laugh at them because they're not actually standing for anything. Raz0rfist actually stands for something. I don't always agree with him on some of his takes, but I do agree with a lot of them. And he does not care about the money. He does not care about this stuff. He's a real one in this space. And he's a real artist, too. If you've ever read his novels, not only Ghost of the Badlands, but his pulp novels that he's put out as well, they're excellent. And he knows what he's talking about. And I've noticed the trend as well. If you look at what Raz0rfist talks about in terms of what makes comics great, he's always talking about the French European comics from the 60s and 70s, the Phantom, the Shadow, stuff that comes before that little weird 90s thing where these guys really didn't have any storytelling capabilities. They just drew 15,000 pouches and muscles on one guy and they go, oh, it's super detailed. And there's nothing to it. And it looks kind of ugly. That's what these guys came up with. So they know their entire thing is just a house of cards that's waiting to come down, and that's why they make these attacks. So make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. We're already 5 minutes into this. I had to preface this is the global situation that we're dealing with here. I appreciate you guys being here. Obviously, I'm a real comic creator myself, and I post my comics up for free on here because I just want you to read, and it's all about reading. It's all about actually making the culture, producing the culture, changing the culture. So get in on the comics Substack. You can read Flying Sparks for free as I post it, and I appreciate you guys for being here. Appreciate over 1,000 people who have signed up so far. We're getting way more traction than ever because people understand what the real movement is. And if you do want to be a paid subscriber, this acts as a Patreon. I'm banned from Patreon, of course, because I'm the real deal. They got me for, quote, hate speech, right? It's ridiculous. And I think you'll really, really enjoy things as we move along, as we're building. You can see what we're doing behind the scenes. I'm very talkative in my Discord and community and all that about what we're doing. And we're doing way more than these guys, and they're scared of it. These guys, the reason that Shane Davis was lashing out at me all week doing 3-hour live streams on me, and Ethan did a 3-hour live stream on me, is because they know that this message is resonating because the truth is here and because the real comics are here, and they're deathly afraid of me. They really are. And so they're going at Raz0rfist now as a continuation of all this. And this is the new thing. Like I said, the Smash JT crowd and that group went at Raz0rfist at the beginning of the year. That was the signal to the grifter class that it was good to attack Raz0rfist. And they went really, really hard. Smash JT tried hard to cancel him because Raz0rfist called out just that games, these games out there that these idiots are into now are just they're pay-to-win games where you have to pay, and then you get skimpy outfits with it, so they got some boobs to it. Well, that's not real gaming. Real gamers don't care about graphics, and we know this. So it is a false dichotomy, much like the grifter pouches thing, like the Rob Liefeld is not actually good art either, which they're trying to frame as good art versus Marvel, right? And so this is where Raz0rfist has been because we understand the classics. We understand art theory. We understand story theory and story crafting. And this is why it's a threat to these guys. And they see it as a threat all the way around. This entire class of people is kind of the same group. They have a lot of crossover, right? And so they have to go at people like Raz0rfist and try to take him down because of this. You see, it didn't originally start here. The original post was that Raz0rfist made a comment about a artist who's not in ComicsGate. And then this escalated quite a bit through here. We're talking about Travis Charest. His original post before Shane Davis quote tweeted this was that there was an ugly piece of art, and it was objectively an ugly piece of art. And then Shane took this saying, I don't know, I think Travis has a future, and he put a cover of Batman where again the faces look pretty ugly again. And then put it up against George Alexopoulos' Ghost of the Badlands interior art. Now, here's a couple of things to make this a thing. The reason he did this was, of course, saying, your art in your book sucks, Raz0rfist, compared to this. Which is interesting because, again, Raz0rfist wrote the script, and it's not his art. So that's pretty funny just by itself. They always do this, right? They were going at my artist, my cover artist for my sci-fi novels the other day, just because he's affiliated with me, as if look, if you legitimately didn't like that art, do I care? I didn't draw that. I liked it, so I put it on my cover. So, and I like what I like, but it's like that's not a slight against me. I can't draw. I'll tell you right now, I can't draw anything. so it's fine. But at the same time, like, I know it's disingenuous. I know these people just attack because they were all about this. When it came out, they were live streaming about it, saying it was great. They're just liars about everything. And so they attacked Raz0rfist right here with this. And Shane Davis deleted this tweet in the whole thread because this is the other thing they like to do. They like to pretend like they were attacked first. And so they delete the thing that they do or do it on a different... So what'll happen is Ethan Van Sciver will say something nasty about me on X, so I'll make a video about it. And then he'll go on a live stream going, JD, I made a video about me. He's attacking me. Like he had no clue after he instigated everything. This is the total MO of these people. So this is exactly what they did. Shane Davis made this to try to attack Raz0rfist's comic book, right? And so Raz0rfist shows this is a preview page from Indiegogo, not the final art. The artist is George Alexopoulos, not me, you talent-free F-wit. So this is it. Again, it's like that's not even my art. Like, I didn't draw that. Like, you're trying to say I'm some sort of bad artist. This is the same thing they did to me the other day. They think their audiences are stupid. I mean, this is the only reasonable conclusion you can make is they really think their audiences are stupid. And so that's because they treat their audiences like they're stupid. He said, there's a reason Ghost of the Badlands sold more copies than any comic you've ever promoted. Very, very true. So this is the same thing. And same thing like with my sci-fi novels. They know this too. That's why they're mad. Like I have sci-fi novels that have sold over 30,000 copies on Amazon. Way more than Shane Davis is ever doing with his anatomic cats or whatever the hell it is. And they know this, and that makes them mad. They don't want that. They don't want their readers to discover that that's happening, right? Especially since I'm so prolific, right? And so this is the same sort of deal. Raz0rfist Ghost of Badlands was an excellent book. Excellent. It was just really well done. Wonderful stuff. I really wanted a second one out there. And of course, we'll see what happens with that. But this is a really great start to something that felt like a great old pulp adventure comic. That's exactly what I wanted. And so that's it. And so this is the thing. Again, he'll act like Raz0rfist just attacked him. Raz0rfist versus comics. Dale Keown repost. So you see, they all repost it. They all attack together. They all mob together, and then they use their sock accounts to make it look like there's a lot of people involved in it. It's really just it's so eye-rolly cringy. And Raz0rfist is the wrong person to attack because he doesn't give a shit what they think. He really doesn't. And so this is really ridiculous as it goes along. But it goes further. They did, of course, the 3-hour live stream on him. And I know, I guess Ethan 3-hour live streamed about me. I haven't watched it, so if there's any good clips, let me know. But this is how they all went with this. Look at this. That's some of Travis Charest's early work, which is great compared to what DC was publishing half of their monthly titles. I doubt you understand this, you tourist. But Travis Charest is a comic book god. Every artist starts somewhere as he attacks. And then that's it. And so, according to Raz0rfist, Travis Charest's early art sucks and I'm a talent-free F-wit. So you see, he acts like he got attacked for no reason when Shane Davis instigated the attack on his comic book. It's so disingenuous. Inglorious 3 made 300K benchmark 3 times around so far, blah, 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 blah. I've only got 7K YouTube subscribers. Now remember, Shane Davis fakes his numbers with his own website, and we've caught him, and he's really mad about that. None of this is real with ComicsGate. We found that they were faking backers on Indiegogo because Indiegogo used to report, whenever you made a purchase, it would report it as a new backer. Their new system showed that these guys had about 20 to 30% less backers than we thought. And it's my opinion that these guys go through and they back their own campaigns for large amounts, just going to take a loss of like 5% of whatever the fee is on that or whatever it is. And that way it makes it look more successful so people buy on it. So that's what these guys have been kind of caught doing during this whole deal. 20, 30%, very big numbers to do this. I sat on one of those streams with EVS. Even Billy Tucci got in on it, of course, going at him. which is too bad. And you know, when he was respectful to Billy Tucci when he replied too. So it wasn't just like Raz0rfist is angry or anything like that. It's just Shane's such an insufferable asshole that he was dealing with that. So look at this. Ethan acts like Shane was just attacked. Calling Raz0rfist, calling Shane Davis a talent-free F-wit is crazy. Shane isn't an F-wit. And he, you know, this is funny because Ethan always does this. He attacks his own people very regularly, but he admits that Shane Davis doesn't really have talent in this tweet. And that's the thing. And he thinks that because he couches it as a joke, but this is how he acts, right? That's not even bad. The artist is very young, blah, blah, ended up killing it a few short years later. Take off the sunglasses. So, yes, and this then leads to the 3-hour live stream that they just go at him. But they need an enemy. And Raz0rfist has been a proved enemy of that leftist sort of group that's, quote, anti-woke, that grifted off of anti-wokeism. Because they want to go at real Christians and real conservatives. This is the thing. They're trying to tear down any real opposition at this point. And ComicsGate is not smart enough to understand this. They're just tacitly involved in it because this is just what they end up being. It's really, really sad. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Guys, sign up for my comics Substack. I may never find you again on YouTube. You never know. You might just get this because it says Raz0rfist in the title, and you might never find me again. And that's the way this stupid algorithm works here. But that's why I love Substack. Get on here, read some free comics. It's very simple. And if you do want to support my channel and support what we got going in the real movement, this is it. We're making tons of stuff, and it's beautiful. Join my Discord, join my community. I appreciate you guys being here. We'll be back soon.